I wasn't completely sure about this one. The McCarthy Road has a bit of a reputation. Washboard, potholes, not exactly ideal if you're still getting used to riding gravel. And I was still getting used to that. But it was the only place in the state with sunshine that weekend. So I packed up after work and went anyway. From my home in Talkeetna, I headed south to Wasilla and Palmer, then east through the Matanuska Valley on the Glen Highway, and toward the Copper River Valley. My destination was McCarthy, deep inside Wrangell St. Elias National Park and Preserve, a remote corner of Alaska, reached by a long gravel road. I left Talkeetna late, but this time of the year that doesn't mean much. The midnight sun lights up the sky. I pulled over at Matanuska Glacier Overlook to stretch. I always do. Something of a tradition by now. 70 miles of winding road still lay ahead before camp. was nearly midnight when I pulled into Tolsona Creek campground and pitched my tent. Mosquitoes swarmed the moment I stopped, no surprise there. I ate a quick meal, then tucked in for the night, a quiet edge of anticipation settling in as I thought about tomorrow, the ride out to McCarthy. The next morning, I packed up early and headed out. I wasn't completely sure what to expect. After the turnoff, the road just keeps dropping for a while. Kind of gives you a moment to think about what's ahead. I rode through Chitina, where the pavement ends and 60 miles of gravel begin. I took a deep breath and a quick check to see if my camera is on. Right out of Chitina, that was probably the roughest part. The surface was loose, bigger rocks were swimming on top. Looks like the grader had just been through. I just slowed it down and kept going. Just outside Chitina, I stopped at the Copper River. Fish wheels turning in the current. Eagles and gulls waiting for scraps. The wind was strong. One of my favorite stops along the road is this old railway trestle. It's a reminder that this wasn't always just a remote gravel road. More than 100 years ago, trains came through here carrying copper from the Kennecott mine. The McCarthy Road was built along much of the same route as the old railroad, and every now and then pieces of that history still show up. After rain and road work, old pieces of the railroad can sometimes surface again through the gravel. Luckily, I made it through without finding one with my tires. Eventually, the road brought me into McCarthy, a place I'd been before, but never like this. After setting up camp, I left the bike behind and I walked across the footbridge into McCarthy. The footbridge brought back a memory from my first visit here, years ago. A lot has changed since then. Back then, there was a small tram across the river that you pulled yourself over by hand. Only locals are allowed to drive into McCarthy. Visitors have to use the footbridge. On the shuttle ride to Kennecott, I had a little time to take in where I was. Wrangell St. Elias is the largest national park in the US. Over 13 million acres of mountains, glaciers, and vast wilderness. Kennecott was once a busy copper mining town, built around one of the richest copper deposits ever discovered. The mine operated for just a few decades before closing in 1938, and the buildings left behind tell the story of a very different time in Alaska. Walking through here, it's hard not to imagine what life must have been like in such a remote place. After riding all morning, it felt good to slow the pace down. I traded the motorcycle for a trail and spent the afternoon walking toward the glacier. The trail moved through trees with a glacial moraine stretching out beside me. Along the way, there was a waterfall, wildflowers, and incredible views of the glacier. After a full afternoon of exploring, I headed back into McCarthy for dinner. I stopped at The Potato, a lively little spot in town. After dinner, I took a walk through town. McCarthy is a small place, but it has a lot of character. Old buildings, historic vehicles, and a few surprises along the way. I walked back toward camp and stopped at the creek to fill up my water bottle. This is where many locals get their drinking water too. Cold, clear, and exactly what I needed after a long day. Then I crossed the bridge one more time and settled in for the night. A good day. The next morning, after a cup of mint tea, I packed up early and started the ride home. The route was familiar now, back across the McCarthy Road, through Chitina, and eventually north toward Talkeetna. Looking back, I almost talked myself out of this trip. Not enough time, not sure about the gravel. A lot of reasons to wait. But sometimes you just have to go. It wasn't just the road to McCarthy that I'll remember. It was the quiet moments along the way. The creek water. The walk through McCarthy. The trail to the glacier. And a little dust on my bike. Just a reminder of where the road took me. Sometimes you don't need perfect conditions. You just need to make most of the time you have.